Hello, it's Tokel AMA time. Time for the Tokel Ask Me Anything live stream. It's August 21st, 2021. My name is E. Giuliano. I'll be emceeing this live stream. Thanks for being here, and let's get ready for a fun, interactive, informative Q&A session. This is a chance for you, anybody, the community, to ask questions during this lead up to the Tokel IDO and find out even more about Tokel platform, how it works, where it stands currently, and where Tokel platform is going. Ask about the technology, the user experience, Tokel marketing, relationships to Komodo platform, or anything else that's on your mind. Okay, it's an AMA. Let's have some fun. And we're going to open up to discussion from the questions that you post in the various feeds, particularly the Tokel Discord. If you haven't joined Tokel's Discord yet, I strongly urge you to do it. It's probably the best way to keep up with Tokel going forward. So yeah, for your questions, we'll monitor the Tokel Discord chat and the YouTube stream questions, as well as any other questions coming from the Twitter, the Float, and Facebook. Okay. And joining today, we have also Nutella Lika, Daria, Dream Tim, Otto is here as well running the stream. And so you can ask any types of questions relating to what I've mentioned or anything else that comes to your mind. So before we start rounding up those questions, I'm just going to welcome Nutella Lika and Daria, Dream Tim, Otto. So Nutella Lika, first up to you. Thanks. You put this thing, well, not alone, but you're basically getting this going here. The Tokel platform. We've got an AMA today. We're gonna start with some questions. Hi, Nutella Lika, though.
Hey, thanks, Giuliano. Yeah, thanks for helping us out here. Yeah, definitely not alone. There's a good team effort. Pushing the platform along and getting it going. So yeah, really excited and excited to answer some questions and try and inform people about where we're going and what we're trying to achieve and to try and simplify some of those difficult concepts that people might not yet quite understand. So thanks for having us.
Excellent. Yes, thank you. And Daria, you're here. You've been working away hard at this Tokel platform. So what has been your role like? If you could summarize it in a few sentences so that we might be able to understand and have questions brewing in our mind.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for welcoming me here. I work on the development side of things. I kind of give direction of how we develop it and come up with designs and features and what everything is going to be included. We have a very small development team. It's me and one more person who is not around today, AC Nebs. Yeah, we kind of work pretty hard trying to make it happen because, the only two people, it's a little bit more challenging. But we do have loads of support from Komodo team, actually. So that's very helpful. Thank you, guys.
Amazing. And speaking of Komodo team, we have Otto here, who's running the stream. Hi, Otto.
Yeah, hi, good to be here. And if there's some questions that I can take, I'm also available to answer or comment.
Excellent. And for Tokel marketing is also Dream Tim is here. Hi, Dream Tim.
Oh, hi there. I'm very happy to be here.
Well, we're super happy to have you here as well. You've been also working yourself at the Tokel marketing, putting together all of the messaging and the imagery and all the posting and things like that. Is that correct? And maybe you want to summarize some of the activity or some of the sweat you've been pouring for Tokel platform?
Well, yeah, I've been trying to, since Nutella Lika sort of brought me on board, I've been, very fortunate to meet everybody else in the team. It's a fantastic team at Tokel, and I've had the chance to work closer with everyone, including, guys from the Komodo marketing team. So, it's been fantastic for me. I've been doing a lot in trying to set up socials, put out those messages, as you mentioned, and trying to get us some mentions in the press. So hopefully we'll have a nice article from Cointelegraph coming out soon, and some other surprises, where we hope that we build up, the awareness of the Tokel IDO coming up on the 30th of August on Atomic Dex. So all the activity we're sort of working at the moment is to raise awareness for the IDO, and obviously, to relate to people what Tokel is and what it means for businesses, for token creators, and for NFT creators.
Well, I want to know more about that. I'm glad this is an AMA. Hopefully, we can find out more in this discussion. And so I would say that later on, you're going to round us up with the various important links that we should be aware of, but of course, they'll be posted as well. And yeah, as well, there is also another surprise. Nutella will give us a preview of that towards the end of the stream as well. So let's move forward here. We're going to get into some of the questions. So we are looking at the Tokel Discord here. We have eyes on the chats. I don't see any chats here in the Tokel AMA chat. So
Yeah. If anyone has any questions, there's a Tokel AMA chat just above this stage here that they can type into, and we'll answer them. Otherwise, if there's any questions on any of the streams, we'll keep an eye out for that.
Yeah. In the meantime, Dream Tim, you did mention a few things there. They caught my ear. Before you came on to Tokel, what was maybe one of your biggest questions that you were curious about or wondering?
Well, I guess that I had two sort of major questions when sort of Tokel was when I was made aware of it. My biggest questions, I guess, were two. One is, how does Tokel differ to the Ethereum or the Binance Smart Chain in terms of how it goes about to create tokens, and how does it make token creation better. And the second big question I have was, how does Tokel plan to compete with NFT creation platforms like OpenSea?
And did you find out the answer to any of those, or is that something that maybe Nutella can address?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
Daria?
I can try and summarize that. So, how does Tokel differ from Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain? The way they create tokens is basically Ethereum uses smart contracts to create their tokens. So what you have to do when you're creating like a single NFT, for example, is you have to take a smart contract that's got the wallet functions and got all of the transactional functions in it, and then change it, develop it in your own sort of way, and then publish that smart contract in order to publish the NFT. The way that we do it using Komodo technology is it basically, you take a single Tokel coin and the consensus mechanisms that are hard coded into the blockchain color that coin is the terminology there. So that single Satoshi of Tokel becomes a single token, and the way that it's handled via consensus is different. But what that means is you don't need to create a smart contract in order to create a token. You need to create, type in a single command line that has the name, the supply, the description, as well as a URL field. There's all these other optional input fields. And then as soon as you type in that one command, it'll populate a token for you that'll be within your token wallet associated with your Tokel address. The term they put on that is a smart UTXO versus a smart contract. So slightly different the way they go about it for the token creation side. And then the other one was, how do we plan to compete with NFT creation platforms? In my mind, we're not just an NFT creation platform. We can actually host NFT creation platforms. So the example I give is ones like OpenSea or Rarible. They can actually create on top of the Tokel platform. So they can instead of using the Ethereum blockchain and spending a lot of money on gas fees and token creation fees, they could actually move their platform onto the Tokel platform and use the underlying blockchain features and technology that we have. So they could be creating their NFTs on top of Tokel. So I don't think we're actually necessarily going to try and compete with them. What we should do is we should try and work with them to build on top of Tokel, which will obviously benefit the entire community in that aspect. But what we're going to do in order to showcase what we have to offer is we're going to create that all-in-one application that will have an NFT marketplace in it. We're going to do our best to try and make it as user-friendly and as simple to use as possible. But the idea behind that is to showcase that anybody can create an NFT marketplace or creation platform on top of the Tokel blockchain.
Beautiful. That sounds very exciting. And one thing that came to my mind is when you were mentioning about the smart contract versus the smart UTXO. That was the name you mentioned. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct, because the single Satoshi is the UTXO.
Yeah, and for that, would that a difference there be that the smart UTXO is on the protocol layer of the chain, and the smart contract is at another level of the chain? Or do you know what I'm asking here? Are they different in that sense?
I would say so. I guess a smart contract is written is not necessarily written into the consensus mechanism rules. You're creating a code on the side and plugging it into the blockchain. The way the smart UTXOs work is it's a base layer, like blockchain level tech that anybody can use. You don't have to create your own code and put that in. It's all there ready to go for you for anybody to use. Is that kind of what you're getting at?
I think so. Thanks. Yes. But maybe we can dial it back a bit and get to a bit more basic questions, and we can lead up to some more complicated things possibly. Just for anybody who's just joining and doesn't have even a basic idea of what is Tokel. It's a blockchain app platform. What is it? And maybe Daria, from your perspective, could you describe it? Because you're working a lot on how the users will interact with it. So maybe you could give a summary of how you understand it.
Right. I guess Tokel is a way of creating tokens, and I think what would differ us from others is we really would like to improve the user experience and bring all the difficult concepts of blockchain and token creation, all this to users. Because I personally believe that a lot of these things are very overcomplicated, and even when they try to explain, it's not really well explained. So I would love this platform to be a place where people can actually learn and understand things. Yeah, so that's one of the things. I see Tokel as being used as tokens creating on our platform, being used for a lot of great purposes. We have a lot of different plans for it, apart from art and NFTs that everyone is talking about right now. There's loads of different cool utilizations that can be used, like for games, for example, which I think will be very exciting once we eventually can get to that. Yeah, I don't know. Did I somehow answer your question?
I do. Yeah, I think so. And that's great. Thank you for that. And maybe if Nutella or Dream Team or anybody wants to add more to it, that's fine. But that was pretty decent there. And I think well, I think Nutella, maybe you want to say something there first.
Yeah, no. I was just gonna to piggyback onto what Daria is saying. It's that we're really trying to focus on the wider picture and not just NFT art. Like that is definitely one specific use case for tokens in general, and it does a really good job of facilitating that solution is digital art and improving ownership over digital art. But we're really trying to expand on how you can use tokens and how NFTs can be used in different ways. And she touched on the games part there, which is a really good one. And that's what I think the next step will be not just proving ownership over the digital art, but it'll be interactive NFTs where people can come along and they can purchase the NFT, they own whatever that NFT represents, which could be a character, an item, or an image or whatever. But the interaction piece is that next step where people not only own it, they can actually interact with whatever that represents. So I think that's the next step, and that'll be interacting with it in a digital fashion. And then from there, I think interacting with them in a physical, like real world fashion will be the follow-on steps. So I'm really excited to see where people take it, because I don't think it. I think the community, we're gonna try and foster the features and get people thinking about it, and we want people to come out and try different things and create different projects. And if there's indie game developers out there that want to give it a crack building on the blockchain or using blockchain gaming, then we're going to do as much as we possibly can to help facilitate that. If there's people that want to tokenize physical assets, then we're going to try and facilitate that. So if people want to create digital art, then we're going to try and facilitate that. So we're not just hamstringing ourselves or really focusing on one area. We're trying to cover that broad range of use cases and trying to really get people to think about how else they could use it in day-to-day life.
Very nice. And I think that ties well with what Daria was saying. And so something for people to learn, people to use, make it very much about us using it. And you talked about game developers. So a call out to game developers and anybody else interested in these possibilities. The Tokel platform is definitely looking to really push this space forward, wouldn't you say? Okay, so there is a question also from the YouTube. Otto, thanks for that alert. The question is really for the airdrop. Will it work if holding KMD in Dogedex? That was from Queen Victoria. Thank you. Well, I guess that's how you would pronounce it. So, will the airdrop work if holding KMD in Dogedex or any other atomic DEX for that matter?
Is Otto there?
Oh, yeah. So, yes, it should be working. So Doge DEX, any DEX that where you hold the private keys. So as long as you have the private key, then you will get the airdrop. So you can keep the KMD on atomic DEX, or you can keep them on those DEX. So both work. And yeah, I can follow up to that. I think the Komodo community is very interested about the airdrop. So perhaps you can tell the details of how that all will work. When is the airdrop, and how much is being airdropped, and where can the people find more information about that?
And this mention the snapshot too, I guess would be a good idea. Untitled, did you want to talk about that?
Yeah, no worries. So the airdrop, we're airdropping 8 million Tokel to Komodo holders. So as Otto's mentioned, basically in whatever fashion you hold your Komodo, if you have access to those private keys, you'll then have access to receiving or your Tokel airdrop. Because the way it works is that Komodo addresses are exactly the same as the Tokel addresses. So if you hold the private key to your Komodo wallet, then you have exactly the same address and wallet in the Tokel blockchain as well. So all you need to do is just open up the Tokel app, put that private key in there, or launch a full node, or however you want to connect to the Tokel blockchain. Put the private key in there. It'll populate exactly the same address as what you have on the Komodo blockchain, and your Tokel will be there. So with that 8 million Tokel, it's about for every 16.6 Komodo, you'll receive 1 Tokel. The snapshot itself will be done within a week prior to the IDO, so we're looking from roughly the 24th of August to the 30th of August. So we'll take it at a random date and time within that period. The intent there is to try and incentivize people holding, Komodo, because the people that are holding Komodo are have invested in the community from the fact that they're holding it. So they should be incentivized to do so. And then the actual airdrop itself will occur after October. So once the IDO is complete, the block rewards back to normal, then the IDO will occur at some point within that September period.
Yeah, there's a follow-up question on the Komodo YouTube from Yumit Kara. I might be mispronouncing that name. So he's asking, is Binance or Auto Exchange, does Binance or Auto Exchange support the airdrop?
No, not that I'm aware of. We haven't reached out to any specific exchanges to support the airdrop. That doesn't mean that. Basically, it means that if you aren't holding your private keys, so if you're in any exchange or custodial exchange, I should say, then you won't have access to those Tokel. And I wouldn't expect access. You can feel free to reach out to them, as we're not excluding any wallets or anything like that. So that'll be on the individual to manage that.
All right. Thank you, Nutellalika. And thanks for that question there, Umitkara. And also, I guess the other question was about Tokel listings, but you might do that after maybe talk about listings, but before that, because there is a question here about can I get Tokel on an exchange, but I think we should stick to the IDO for the time being and just tell people what is an IDO. Also, you mentioned about when it's going to occur roughly, and there is going to be a series of availability. They're going to take it on atomic DEX. Can you just give us some more details about that?
Yeah, so would definitely recommend people jumping onto the Tokel website. So just tokel.io/IDO. That'll have all the details listed out there, so you can process that in slow time. Basically, we're having the IDO start on the 30th of August, and just prior to that, actually, we're going to be doing another live stream, which will go for about an hour, which will highlight all the differences. Highlight all of the specifics of how the IDO will work, what an IDO is. We'll have a couple of interviews, a developer showcase of where the application's going in the future. So highly recommend keeping your ears out for when that one will be occurring. But as I said, tokel.io/IDO has all the details there. It'll be kicking off at 8 p.m. on the 30th of August. The IDO will be occurring on atomic DEX. So basically, you'll just have to have Komodo on atomic DEX, and then you'll be able to participate in the IDO. It'll be broken up into 2 separate phases. The phase 1, which is a bit of a price discovery phase, and then phase 2, which is the main IDO. The highlight of the phase 1 is it's only a short period of time with a short amount of a short supply. So the total amount of Tokel for the phase 1, just the price discovery phase, will be 500,000 Tokel over 48 hours, and each of those Tokel will be broken up into a series of offers, each offer increasing basically by 0.008 KMD per offer up to a certain amount. So the intent there is to create market-like conditions over a short period of time with a short supply to try and find that price of what price is Tokel, because we didn't want to just list it as like, hey, this is the price we think it is. We want the community to be able to participate in the price discovery before we then conduct the main IDO, which will be the 19.5 million and any leftover from phase 1. When we hit that main IDO phase, so at the end of that 48 hours, whatever price Tokel is at that point will be the main IDO price will be 70% of that final phase 1 price. And that's basically how it's going to work. We'll have a bit more information in the IDO live stream and a bit of a, hopefully we can try and break it down and simplify it a bit more than that, but yeah.
Great, thank you. And we're getting a few questions here now in the Tokel AMA chat, so please keep them coming. And the first one here that I'll read out is from Cromwell about wallets. So maybe you can speak to what wallets do you expect to be available for Tokel early on?
Yep. So we've got our Tokel all-in-one application, which is a wallet. It'll have it currently is a Tokel wallet, so that's released at the moment. So you can find that just via the website. If you click the how-to, so tokel.io/how-to, you can get a release from GitHub. It's an open sourced application and it's a super light wallet. So it's really, really quick, and I'd highly recommend everyone going and trying that out, because we're going to be adding more features and more features. Daria's doing a great job with designs at the moment. We'll soon to have a Tokel token wallet in there as well. So it's an all-in-one application. It'll have the NFT marketplace, a token dex, token creation page eventually. So that's my number one recommendation. The other one will be Atomic Dex. So definitely getting on that. We'll make an announcement to the community when Tokel's available on Atomic Dex. That's the second one. And then you've also got the Tokel QT wallet, or you've got a Tokel full node. So anybody can run the full node daemon on their computers if they wish to. So they're the big four ones at the moment. So you've got a couple of full nodes, and then you've also got Atomic Dex, which is an SPV wallet, and then we've got the Tokel all-in-one application, which is NSPV, super light. Highly recommend everyone get around that.
Brilliant. And I actually hoping to get a little bit more information about NSPV, but maybe that will be later as well. I think, Daria, would you like to speak at all about what Nutella was talking about, the Tokel all-in-one application? You've been designing, working on that. Is there any thoughts you want to share, please?
Yeah, sure. It's been very interesting and pretty exciting to create all this stuff. First of all, there's loads of kind of freedom for both design and development, and we're working with quite interesting things apart from the blockchain implementation, which Komodo is helping us with. We're working with NSPV, as you mentioned. Should I talk a little bit about it now, or?
Yeah, sure. That would be great. That would be great. And then you can, and intermixing with that, you can talk about, since you're saying you have a lot of freedom, you can talk a bit maybe about your intentions, or, the type of direction or things like that.
Right. Well, just quickly about NSPV. It's basically a very light node, which means normally when you download a wallet of any currency, you have to sync the whole chain node, and it takes a long time. While NSPV is a little light node, which only checks the headers of the blocks to make sure all the information, everything is correct, and it comes from the majority of the chain. That is super exciting, because you can just get the app and just you can just download our app and you can just start it, and you automatically have a fully functioning wallet and token wallet in the future.
And it makes everything
So,
faster. Is that what it makes everything faster, that much faster?
Yeah, it's super fast. Well, comparing to just having a full thing. Yeah, definitely. You don't need to wait for any syncing, basically. You just connect to the network and broadcast. It's
Amazing.
also it's secure in a way that everything happens directly on your computer. So all the transaction creation and signing and everything happens offline on your computer. And then when you want to broadcast your transaction to the chain, that's when you have to connect to the chain and do it. So apart from being quick, it's also pretty secure, which is very exciting for everyone.
Indeed. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Yes. Is there anything, did you want to say something else?
I mean, I can just keep on talking, but yeah, I'm good, I guess, for now.
Okay, cool, good. Because we do have more, thank you, Daria, because we do have more questions coming in. Wookie is asking a couple of questions. One of them is about fiat on-off ramp, and then the other one is about the starting price of Tokel KMD. Nutella, you kind of addressed the starting price But did you want to readdress that question? What's the starting price of Tokel KMD? And then maybe if you wanted to address there the fiat on and off ramp question, will there be a fiat on and off ramp? You could do that too.
Yep. So the price discovery is the only price that we've listed at the moment, because as I said, the main IDO will be occurring based on whatever the final price discovery price is. So the phase 1 prices, the first order starts at 1 Tokel for 0.01 KMD, and then the 50th order starts at finishes at 1 Tokel for 0.402 KMD. So I mean, the price discovery can be anywhere within there. It can be above, below, depending on what the market conditions do at the end of that 48-hour period. And then the phase 2, so the main IDO, will be 70% of whatever that phase is. And then the fiat on-off ramp. So we're going to be on the Atomic Dex exchange, or the decentralized exchange there. And I believe they're working on a fiat on-off ramp. So that'll be primarily be the starting fiat on and off ramp. And then into the future, we'll look at our other exchange options and how that can give us access to further fiat on and off ramps.
Great. Thank you very much for answering those. And Cax is asking, will Tokel get listed on Uniswap, PancakeSwap after the IDO?
Yeah, so this is a good question in terms of it highlights the fact that that we aren't actually a token. Tokel itself is not a token. Tokel itself is a coin. It has its own independent blockchain, just like Komodo, just like Pirate, just like Verus. They each have their own chains. They each have their own miners. They each have their own transactions, and they each have their own coin. So we won't be listing on Uniswap or PancakeSwap, and we don't act in the same way as like an Ethereum token would. So the answer to that would be no.
Great, thank you for that. And who knows, maybe one day with a bridge over to Verus, and then people could just play around and throw it over to the Ethereum side or wherever else it bridges to. But or like you said, it's just a different thing that you're working on anyway. It's not used in the same fashion or form. I do want to remind everyone also that you were talking earlier about games and game developments and just using a wide array of functionalities here for this NFT token creation blockchain platform. Really excellent. So we're going to move on. Great questions, everyone who's asking questions. Thank you. And to those of you joining us for this AMA, thank you very much. And here we go. Netster is asking a few questions here, a couple questions. He's asking with how will you compete with such a mega monster as Binance in the NFT industry? And then the second question is, how can you evaluate Tokel for an investor? Is it a product or an infrastructure? And so thank you, Netster. Good questions, very much. Thank you.
Yeah, so for that first question, I think Wookie's also asked a similar question just below that. Was what does Tokel offer that will be better than OpenSea to pull user base over? So similar question, like how you're going to compete. And we kind of hit on this earlier, where the intent will be to offer the features that we have. So we've got a couple of niche features like royalties and the fact that it's super inexpensive to create. So you only need one Satoshi of Tokel in order to create a token, and then the transaction fees are defaulted at 0.0001 Tokel, which is considerably low. And then so that's basically the baseline features that we're going to be offering. We're going to be offering a simple to use platform, so that all-in-one application basically will host all of the features available in a really, really super light fashion. So these are the basics that we're trying to set the platform at to be able to compete with such big NFT monsters, in the words of Netster. But as I spoke about earlier, the intent will actually be to go out and reach out to organizations that have NFT marketplaces and that host NFTs and that sort of thing for them to build on top of the Tokel platform. So we aren't trying to necessarily compete one for one with those types like OpenSea and Rarible and things like that. we actually want them to come over and work alongside us, or we want to work alongside them and give them the option of creating NFTs on a platform that is specifically designed for tokens in mind, and will continue to work. And all of our development efforts will be with tokens in mind, and facilitating that in different ways, shapes, and forms, whether it's through like a software development kit for developers to create projects on, or whether it's through great user interface in the application, or different bits and pieces like that. So hopefully that answers both of those questions. I think the second question, how can you evaluate Tokel for investor? So in my eyes, people that want to purchase Tokel can use it. So Tokel, the coin, or TKL, is used to create tokens, create transactions on the Tokel blockchains. That's the use case. So it's a utility coin that people can go out there and actually create. So the value comes from the fact that it's you can go out there and use it. And I implore people to go out there and use it and purchase it to use it, and conduct, and send tokens, and create tokens for their friends and send them around and showcase them, or create tokens for their business and send them around and do it. So on that, on what page it was, sorry, just.
No worries. This is really good, Nutellalika, and is getting, at least myself, I'm getting pretty excited about this. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. So anytime that you have the next thing you wanted to say, please jump in. But I think it's really important what you mentioned about working with these rather than competing with these quote unquote mega monsters of the NFT industry. So that's actually very exciting, because in a way, what you've got to offer with Tokel is different. And with that, I think the ability to have very, very fast, like the speed, the NSPV, the light, super light, I should say, client, and then just the ease of use for the users, being able to, using the all-in-one application, we can create our tokens and do all of this activity. I think, and then you mentioned about like even bigger, more complex applications like games, and this is just going to be phenomenal, I think. But anyway, that's just me getting a little excited.
I've talked to, all good. I've talked to game developers before, and basically they scoffed at the idea of building blockchain games, or games that use blockchain technology, because they need to run a full node client in order to interact with the blockchain, and that's just not feasible when it comes to running games. But what we can do for game developers is we have this NSPV technology from Komodo that is only within the Komodo ecosystem. We have that available for games to use. So like Daria mentioned earlier, they can use their game code to create and sign transactions locally on the user's or the player's computer, and then all they need to do is click a button. It connects to any full node on the network and broadcasts those transactions, and then they can stop connecting to the network. So it can be done almost instantly, which is really, really cool. And they can also use that to verify information of what the player's wallet is and things like that. So that opens up a whole set of doors to people. And I think once game developers start to understand that and how that's going to be beneficial for them, it should be really cool. So we're really eager to reach out to anybody that's keen to create that sort of stuff. What I was going to say earlier is the kind of 5 key things that I see Tokel platform having is that it's inexpensive, it's open source, that it's easy to use, it's accessible to anyone, and the fees are incredibly low. So I talked about 1 Satoshi creating a single NFT. Well, with the Tokel blockchain, at the fully issued, fully mined supply, which will be roughly somewhere in 50 years' time, you can create some ridiculous amount of tokens. And I don't even want to begin to say that I can pronounce this amount of tokens, but I'll post it in the chat here. But also with 1 Tokel, you can create 100 million NFTs, or you can create a single token with a supply of 100 million. So slight differences there. So we don't only just create NFTs. You can also create fixed supply tokens. So there's two different schools of thought there. Or with 1 Tokel, you can create 10,000 transactions on the blockchain. So they're just a couple of measures of scale to try and understand what the usability of Tokel is and what it's for. So
Amazing. Well, I do believe that's 20 quadrillion tokens there.
there you go.
Yeah, I anyway, a lot to say the least. So you did mention there's a lot here, and I think we're going to get Dream Team on in just a second here to answer the next question. But before that, Metallica, you mentioned about this. It's kind of a bit of the functionality here. You mentioned that TKL itself is a coin, and with that coin can be created either a token with a fixed supply. What would that mean? Like 2 or more, and then also it could create any number of how many NFTs you said?
So one Tokel could create 100 million NFTs. So you only need one Satoshi of Tokel or TKL in order to create an NFT. It uses one Satoshi per NFT.
And in that sense, you said earlier you mentioned about how they get colored. That means that basically that Satoshi itself is transformed into its tokenized version.
Yeah, that's correct. So it becomes a colored coin, which means that it's no longer usable as a TKL. So you need to use that Tokel, and in the eyes of the blockchain, it becomes the token and the associated data that you give it, and then you can no longer use that as a Tokel coin. It is now forever a token.
Irreversible. Okay, cool. All right, thank you for clearing that up again. So there was a nice question again here. So where are we getting that next question is, it was Cromwell asking about, just again to add, what differentiates Tokel from any other NFT platforms. And Dream Team wrote a little bit of a response there, but Dream Team, let's have you vocalize that for us if you don't mind.
Well, I mean, I guess the points that were made from Nutelalica before was that, one of the key differentiators between other NFT platforms and Tokel is that you have the ability to earn from loyalties, which means a percentage of the resale value can come back to you. There's obviously the issue of lower fees that a lot of people will start addressing very soon, because it has been a problem. But I think that Tokel will do it in a very efficient way, cost wise, and obviously the ability to very easily launch and trade tokens and NFTs through a unified platform. I mean, I've installed the wallet so far, and it looks very easy to use. And when the DEX and the NFT marketplace comes in, it should be a pretty cool experience, because you can do it all in one place, in a fairly easy fashion. And that's something that I haven't seen on any other platform. It tends to get pretty complicated at some point.
Excellent, amazing. Thank you, Dream Team. And actually, Mills1236 asks a question: will Tokel eventually be listed on decentralized exchanges? And one thing you might want to talk about, maybe Nutelalica, you want to take this one, but it will have its own decentralized exchange. But also maybe Mills is asking similarly to the previous question about Uniswap and PancakeSwap. Maybe he's thinking about more the Ethereum exchange. So just maybe readdress that.
Yeah, no dramas. The Tokel will be listed straight away on Atomic Dex exchange, so people can currently use the Market Maker 2 software, so the back end of Atomic Dex, and swap or exchange Tokel at the moment. But we'll be, as I said earlier, letting the community know once it's on Atomic Dex, and that'll be done prior to the IDO. So yes, it's going to be on a decentralized exchange very, very shortly. Other decentralized exchange or other exchanges, period, we haven't necessarily got a specific list together. But as a community, run project, we want to take a lot of direction. So if there is specific exchanges that people think would be valuable having on, or you have contacts in, then definitely reach out on the Tokel Discord and let us know. We're definitely open to the community input and really, value that. But as I said, the Tokel will be on Atomic Dex, the RDO will be on Atomic Dex, so that'll be all done in a decentralized fashion, which is really cool. The concept of an RDO is awesome because you maintain, ownership over your funds the entire process. So Atomic Dex is pretty damn cool. If I can
Indeed.
pile on to what differentiates Tokel from other NFT platforms, I think the technology is a big one. In my opinion, I can't overstate the importance of NSPV technology and what a game changer that is for a lot of use cases across the industry because of how light it is and how low of an overhead it has on software. Like it gives you access to blockchain technology in such an easy, simple, low resource usage way, and it's just so quick. It's really, really quick. So if we can start creating dApps and other applications that use that technology, that will then completely open up how the industry and how businesses can use tokens. And like I said, we don't want to just be that single, NFT platform. We want to be a token and NFT platform. So if you require a token that has a supply of 100,000, then you can come and create that just as easily as you can create an NFT on the platform. So we don't want to, be seen as like just NFTs. We want to be broader than that, which is hard to do in this early phase because it's hard to say, hey, we want to do everything. Because then people aren't going to be able to wrap their head around what we're actually trying to achieve. So we're trying to, really solidify that position on NFTs, but we can also create tokens as well.
Is it worth mentioning a little bit how, as a use case, Tokel can be used sort of, for example, by an event organizer?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, definitely.
to create like sort of, to sort of tokenize the event process, which is something that I think, really puts Tokel apart from sort of other platforms. So for example, to launch right now, a token on Binance Smart Chain or on Ethereum Smart Chain, you need a smart contract, and then you need a developer to do that, and then you need also a company to verify that smart contract to make sure it's secure. So the way I understand it, Tokel does away with that.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, so I know we've spoken about this example before, and I actually touched on it in the Pirate Chain Weekly meetup with Lutz, but it's an easy to understand example of how you can use tokens in everyday life. So say you had a stadium or an event venue that had 50,000 seats, and instead of using the normal mechanisms that they're using now, where they need to manually store it in a database, keep track of each individual ticket and all like who owns that ticket and that sort of thing, what you can do is you can create a token on Tokel just as easy as you create an NFT on Tokel. That has a supply of 50,000, and when you're creating that, the name of the token can be Komodo event number 1. The supply will be 50,000 because that's the amount of seats that you have, and then the description is XYZ. The URL points to the event URL, and then there's some other details in there. What you can then do is people can use that as their actual ticket, and so when they come up to the venue, they just have to verify that they hold one of those tokens, and that is their entry into the venue. They can use it that way, and then also that gives them that piece of digital memorabilia that they can use and look back on in the future. They go, oh, hey, like I went to Komodo event number 1. How cool was that? Hey, I actually want to sell this ticket. I can put it on the on-chain token DEX, and somebody might want to buy it for however much. So that's just one use case of how you can use Tokel, the Tokel platform. But definitely, you don't need to be a developer in order to create tokens. We're going to make it so easy through the application and so quick that anybody will be able to do it, which is exciting. At the moment, anybody can go onto the blockchain using a full node client and create tokens, and you can see that on our Explorer. If you go explorer.tokel.io, there's a one of the top headings is tokens. Click that, and you can actually see tokens that are currently created on the Tokel blockchain. So people are doing it, but yeah.
Very well, very well. That's nice to hear. And Dreamton, thanks for addressing that as well. And so it seems like there are definitely questions and curiosities about how Tokel is different. I think also just about wondering how can Tokel, compete, right? And I do think that you're putting a lot of, at least for me, a lot of concerns or maybe doubts or whatever. Not that I had any, but they can be addressed. It sounds like they're quite easily addressed. What Tokel is creating is going to just be differentiated in itself. By now, it's been addressed a few times. Some of these features and characteristics, whether it's technological features or ease of use, and so I hope that addresses it for everyone. If you do have more questions along that line, please do continue to drop them in. Okay, so and Daybreak, I'll just come over to Daybreak here. He's asking about how will the TKL that's turned into a token be kept track of, meaning if it never goes back to being a coin. So you did mention the Explorer, Metallica. I don't know if that's what he's asking about or that what Daybreak is asking about. Do you have an answer for that?
Yep. So the TKL that's turned into a token is kept track of on the blockchain. So the blockchain does that for you. So there's a couple of API commands that you can look at that if it's in your wallet, so if it's associated with your address, you can look at that. So you can just type in, or if you just want to look up a random token, you can type in a specific command. It's token v2 list, hit enter, and it populates all of the tokens that are created on the blockchain. And it gives you the token IDs, so individual unique IDs for each token. You can copy that, and then you can type in token v2 info with that token ID, and then it populates all of the data associated with that token. So the way it does that is it takes, again, I'm not a developer, and Dempsey's all over this with the Komodo tech side of the house, but when you're creating a token, it sends a small portion of TKL to an address, which is a marker address, and then when the API is looking for tokens on the blockchain, any funds that are sent to that address, it then refers back to that transaction, and then it goes, oh, okay, within that transaction is where all of your token data is stored, and then the node or the client can then output the associated token data. So getting into a little bit of the weeds there, but basically it's all done on the layer 1 blockchain, and there's easy to use API to query who owns a token right now, who created it, what information is associated with it, as well as what buys and sell offers are associated with this. Has anybody bid on it? And then you can also go in and bid on different tokens and stuff as well. So hopefully that answers that question. But basically, the blockchain does it all for you. If it's in your wallet, you'll be able to see it. And when we get the token wallet release for the all-in-one application, all you have to do if you want to receive a token is send it to your address, like your Tokel address, and bang, it'll pop up within your wallet there.
Nice. Well, that's good that you went into quite some good detail there. Hopefully that helps you out, Daybreak, with that question. Good question, and thanks for asking it. And keep them coming, everyone. Although we have been going for some time now, but we're happy to be here and answer these questions. I just want to make sure, I don't think I missed any, at least through this chat here on the Tokel Discord, Tokel AMA chat. And speaking of which, just back to what was being talked about earlier, just in terms of use cases and what sets it apart, it will be just if you've seen any of the discussions in the Tokel Discord, then you might have an idea. But if you haven't seen them, definitely stay tuned and check out these discussions, because there's room for a lot of creativity with the Tokel platform, the Tokel chain. Is that right, Metallica, Dreamton, Daria? There's a lot of room for creativity, isn't there?
Yeah,
not just with
definitely.
art, like you were saying earlier, not just with art, although that is a big idea there, but it goes way beyond that, doesn't it?
Yeah, I implore people to understand how they can and think about how they can use tokens in their everyday life and try to do it. Like go on there, create tokens and see if it works for you. Or if there's developers out there that want a hand understanding or doing that, then definitely reach out to the community. We really want to try and build the community such that, you know, all of the good ideas aren't going to come from within the Tokel team. They're going to come from within the community. We're going to do our best to facilitate all of that and try, you know, explain it all and help people understand as well as help people go through the process. So we really want to build that community vibe and get people thinking. And if somebody has an idea that says, hey, we should do this, then somebody else will be like, oh yeah, I'm actually interested in doing that. And then they go off and, you know, create whatever it is. So that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah, and I think we'll hear maybe from Daria and Dream Team about that, but as well. But I just recognized in reading some of those discussions that even in the functionality of the Tokel platform is going to be the ability to promote the Tokel platform, because you could use it in, for example, some sort of event, or partnering with one of them was like some sort of tourism thing, and just a scavenger hunt surrounding that. So I think that's phenomenal. And like you said, the community, any creative ideas coming forward, and then can interface with the local communities to get this out there, because this is how these technologies are going to grow and get into the hands of everybody else, right? And that I'm curious about if there's going to be a mobile version of this wallet, but maybe you'll answer that later. Daria, did you want to say something about like what the potential is here? It's more than just art. How do you see it, or what have you pulled from any of the discussions going on, if you've seen any?
Sure. I don't know if I have anything new to add, but I think the main thing what we all trying to say is we're trying to make it as accessible as possible to people and as easy as possible. That it should be like kind of seamless, this creation of things. People don't even have to think about how it works, and because right now things are a bit complicated with smart contracts and developers have to be involved, while our platform will just allow you to make tokens for any of your projects immediately. They're going to have all sorts of support. They're going to have the decks. You can swap them straight away. And in the future, when we have different partnerships, your tokens created on our platform can also benefit from all the partnership that we have. So by creating tokens on our platform, you kind of have this like full support straight away. You have the full application wallet and like everything, basically everything you need to use your token for your project. So the main thing we are focusing on is bringing very high usability and making sure everything is well explained and created so people can just start using it without any like difficulties.
Perfect. Thank you very much for adding to that. We appreciate it. And Dream Team, did you want to add anything?
No, I mean not in what Daria said. It's just I would like us to address Wookie's question. So basically, he's asking, he's basically saying that there's a lot of NFT marketplaces coming up now, including things such as Solana, Polkadot, Cardano, and so forth. They're obviously all competing on fees, and what they thought to do was to lower the fees that you can find on Ethereum. And basically, it's essentially, as he mentions, a fight for users to get the NFT creators on board, and to build a large user base. And I guess one of the things that I have understood, I'm not the most technical around here, but one of the things I have understood with working with Daria and Nutelalica so far is that one is ease of use, and the other is the element of creators creating something for creators. So there's a lot of these projects approaching NFT creation from a sort of solely business point of view, where I think this project is focusing more on how to enable even creators that are outside the crypto space to enter it and very easily trade their art as an NFT, taking part in the token economy.
Thank you, Dream Tim. And actually, I was wondering from Otto, I'm not asking, I hope I'm not putting you on the spot, but as part of Komodo marketing, do you see any potential, at least potential, for using the token creation or NFTs within Komodo's marketing process?
Yeah, good question. We have been entertaining the thought and trying to look for ways to use the technology that the Tokel team is creating. And one of them is, of course, the conference we are making. Now we don't know if we have the bandwidth to do something for the conference, but it's been on the table as we are also having these conversations with the Tokel team. And another aspect is that we have had a recent focus on kind of an art direction for Komodo. And yeah, maybe we will have some Komodo NFTs, and that would be great. And then, of course, on the Komodo side, it's the art is then on the Atomic Dex. You can hold it there and trade. So yeah, I'm very excited for this addition to the Komodo ecosystem, and yeah, this is gonna help overall the Komodo and the technology.
Okay, well, thank you, Otto. We have been going for about an hour now. I would definitely like to say thank you to everyone who's joined us today and dropped questions. I think I would like to address God Aries' question from somebody. He wants to know, or God Aries wants to know, how can I make a Tokel designer shoe brand as an NFT? Is there any thought about that?
Yeah, I can kind of answer this question in a roundabout way, but the idea, I think, a better or a different type of question would be, how can I turn a shoe into an NFT? Is potentially what they're asking here. So the way I read that is like, how do I turn a physical item into an NFT? And we've kind of tried to address this in some of the chats we've had in the Discord here, but the way that I see it being done in the future is by taking a picture of that physical item and then uploading that to the data when you create the NFT on the Tokel platform. You can put in a URL there of that picture. But what you do then is you have to then put that token ID of that NFT back onto the physical item somewhere, whether it's a QR code of the token ID or you physically write on there somewhere. So whether that's in the tongue of the shoe or underneath the shoe, so that people can refer to that token ID and verify that that token ID is what it is on the blockchain. So what you're looking for is verifiable information and ownership. So you can type in that token ID and see who the current owner is, and then that's how you would prove ownership. Basically for physical items. In terms of making a specific Tokel designer shoe brand, I don't necessarily have an answer to that question.
No, but that's good.
Probably a
God
bit out of
Aries
my
says thank
realm.
you. No, no
No
worries. No, that
dramas.
was a brilliant. No, that's great. That's perfect. And God Aries says thank you. So, and thank you too, God Aries. Great question. And yeah, and I would like to just reiterate there what you were saying. I think that what's going to be possible, even I mean, maybe you can clarify, but you were talking about QR code, so that seems highly likely. And then even some form of chip. Could the chip be like a scannable chip, have that same information? Would that foot the bill there, suit the purpose?
Yeah, so anything that refers back to that token ID, so people can look at the on-chain data, which will then verify what that item is. So the other example that I talked to is a vehicle. So vehicles currently have a vehicle identification number when they come out of the factory. What they could do is they could take a picture of that vehicle off the factory line, upload it, create an NFT associated with that vehicle, and that token ID could be that vehicle identification number. And then when you're trying to sell the vehicle or change the registration or whatever you're trying to do, that is a token ID that somebody has in their wallet, and if you transfer the ownership, then you transfer the ownership of the NFT as well. But what that means is that, if I'm trying to buy the vehicle, I can look up that token ID and ensure that the car is the car that you're telling me it is, and that it looks like. So there's no way of forging that. There's no way of, erasing that token ID or that vehicle identification number and writing some arbitrary random one, because there's blockchain data associated with that token ID, and there's a picture. I could see it come off the factory line. Why is it blue in this photo, but in real world it's black? Like, what happened? Has there been an accident? Have you repainted it? What's the go there? That's the way that I see it occurring. It's just that token ID has to be on the item or associated with the item somehow.
Great, very good. And God Area says I may need a little help with that, but I think I can do that. And I believe in you, God Aries. And Nutella Luca said earlier, oh good, I'm glad you learned a lot today. Nutella Luca said earlier, stick around, Tokel Discord, creators, creative people with ideas, people with a desire to actually experiment and design and create and have fun with this Tokel platform. Come around, because there is a lot of support here for you. Is that right, Nutella Luca? You have the capacity to support, for example, God Aries in a way. He says, I may need a little help with that, and you'll be able to do that, right?
Yeah, definitely. And if people want to do that in the public channels, then I'd definitely recommend that, because I'm sure there's other people out there that are trying to do a similar or different thing to you that can learn. And if we can all learn as a community, we'll all have a better understanding of how to go forward and how to create differently and create better and make the platform better for everyone.
Nice. And that kind of wraps it up around to what Daria was saying earlier about just being able to learn these new things. And this is great. I remember reading about the NSPV from an article written by James JL777, James Lee there. And so shout outs to him. And of course, now I was wondering when or where that technology might come to play for Komodo platform. And it's through this independent smart chain, Tokel. So thanks to all of you, Nutella Luca, for for taking a lot of the lead for this, and Daria for all of your efforts to create the applications we're going to be using. And Dream Team, you're really just getting your feet wet now, as you are going to be putting all of the marketing stuff together. And as I think it was you said earlier, but somebody mentioned earlier, it is a community effort. So everybody come together and share your ideas, your input, and that way Tokel will be even more capable. Good times. This has been quite an interesting discussion. I really appreciate it. I hope we've gotten to everything. There is one announcement that Nutella Luca will make in just a second. I want to shout out to everybody who's still here in the audience there, Ralpone and Mitz, 1236, Queen Victoria, Cromwell, Daybreak, Globe, XIT, and God Areas, Cax, Wookie, Ahmed Daif, Imagination, Term, Regnar, welcome. And anybody else who was here, thanks for joining. So now, Nutella Luca, before you give us the announcement, if there's any final things you wanted to address that you think that we may have missed. Oh, I also wanted to shout outs to you mentioned Dimsy, huge shout outs over there, and to the rest of the people who have not been mentioned. We're working away at Tokel platform. So take it away, Nutella Luca.
Thanks. Well, thank you to you actually for hosting this event. I know it takes a lot of effort and time to put it together. So I appreciate your efforts, and thanks everyone for joining. Hopefully we've been able to distill a difficult information down into that simple information to hopefully help people understand where we're at, where we're going, what we're trying to achieve, and how they can help as well, and how they can join the community, because that's what the Komodo ecosystem is all about, right? It's all about projects coming together to better the ecosystem as a whole and build that community for people to be able to use blockchain technology and utilize all these different features that we have across the board. So appreciate that. And if anyone has any questions, then highly recommend joining the Discord if they haven't already, and then just start talking. We're always available and around, so feel free to do that. But yes, the thing I have to announce is that for anybody that is participating in the IDO, so anyone that trades with the IDO addresses, is that we're going to be doing a bit of a token drop, I guess I'll call it. So we'll do a token drop onto anybody that participates with the IDO address. You'll get an early adopters token in your wallet. So you can expect to see that post IDO. We'll collate all the information and then be sending out a single token to everyone that participates. So I won't be showing you what it looks like for now, but we've got some designs working in the background. It looks pretty cool, but that'll just be a token of our, appreciation for helping us build the platform. And I think it's a good way to showcase the all-in-one application as well. So people will have to download that all-in-one application, and then when they open that wallet, they'll have that token sitting in there, looking nice and shiny for them. So hopefully people will start to understand how to use tokens and have that as a bit of a memento, a bit of memorabilia, Tokel memorabilia.
Wonderful. That sounds great. So I hope that's exciting for all of you listening. Just to recap that, for participating in the IDO, you get a token, an early adopter token from a token drop. So you'll download that application, all-in-one application, and I'll be right there for you. I heard the word shiny. I like shiny things. Excellent. Well, that brings us toward the end of our AMA here for Tokel platform. This August 21st of 2021. A special thank yous to Otto for hooking up the live stream and basically wrapping this all together on a media level here. So thank you, Otto, very much.
Yeah, no problem. It was a pleasure.
Wonderful. And thank you, Dream Tim, for being here and answering some questions for us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Dream Tim, would you like to mention any specific links that you would like people to check out?
I think Tokel.io for the moment is the best place where people can go and find more information about the project. And there you can also find links to our social media channels, and especially Medium, where we've published, as well as Bitcoin Talk, where we've published quite a lot of information about the Tokel project and specifics about the airdrop, the IDO, how to mine, and things like that.
Great. Thank you so much, Dream Tim. And here, Daria, thanks for joining us. And we really appreciate the work you're doing for this all-in-one application. Thanks. Yeah. Do you have anything you would like to say, waving to your fans?
Well, thanks for having me. I'm very happy to work on it. It's I don't know, it's a very nice collaboration with Totel and the Komodo team. Massive shout out to Dimksy, who helps a lot on the blockchain side of things, and all the other people from Komodo who help us. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, we really appreciate you being here, and we look forward to the next time that you're around and we have you up on stage. And of course, Nutella, thank you so much. You definitely work very hard for the Tokel platform, among other things. And so just from my interactions with you, I really appreciate the time and effort you're putting into it, the professionalism that you've got going on. And I think anybody who's wondering about Tokel platform should know that there's really good quality people around. I'm sure you already know that, but just in case it deserves another mention. So thank you very much, Nutella.
Yeah, thanks very much for the kind words. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome, and we look forward to further interactions with you and the rest of the Tokel team, and of course, the Tokel community and Komodo ecosystem community. Looking forward to the future here from Tokel platform. This is going to wrap up the Tokel AMA discussion. I am Giuliano and really appreciate you being here. We're going to end it now. take care and goodbye. Until next time.